with loving kindness. May I be well, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well, may I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole.
Good morning. Welcome to Horizon Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Elizabeth Cummings. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am serving as your worship associate this morning. I am joined by our worship leader, Reverend Chris Rothbauer, whose pronouns are they, them, their. As we prepare for our service this morning, please be sure to check your order of service for important announcements about congregational life. Now, let us join our voices in our responsive welcome. You'll find the words projected on the screen behind me. To all who are yearning for community, come in, be among us. To all who are just getting started, to all who long to go deeper, to all with tender places needing care, come in, be among us. To the ones who have healed and have care to give, for those who are curious and hungry to learn, for those who know that they have something to teach, come in, be among us. Wherever you are, for the ones who are just beginning to suspect they might nurture others' becoming, to the young and the old, the innocent and the jaded, the fresh of mind and the deeply steeped, there is room here for each and every one. Come in, be among us. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, no matter who you are, the people you love, how you look, what you can or cannot do, you are welcome here, just as you are, in this community of care and concern. Come in, be among us. We will continue our conversation at coffee hour immediately following the service in the fellowship hall. Welcome, and let us worship together.
Our call to worship this morning is from the Reverend Scott Taylor. Come into this circle of compassion and care. Bring your worry and wounds, your longings and hopes. With word and song, we rekindle the connection that mends what's been torn. With stillness and the space to pause, we restore our strength for the love that must be done. The work of love, the work of peace, the work of repair, the work of remembering we are not alone. Let us begin. Come, let us worship together.
Our chalice lighting is from Gregory Pelly. And so we gather from the ebb and flow of our lives, thirsty for connection to ourselves, thirsty for connection to others, thirsty for connection to the larger life. As we light this chalice, may all who gather here be filled with joy and hope, filled with compassion and love. Here may we be filled so that we may pour out ourselves out into the world. Please join me in our affirmation, which is printed on the back of your order of service and projected on the screen. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together. I would like to invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, hymn number 1029 in the Teal hymnal, Love Knocks and Wait for Us to Hear.
Love knocks and waits for us to hear, to open and invite. Love longs to quiet every fear and seeks to set things right. Love offers life in spite of foes who threaten and condemn, embracing enemies. Love goes the second mile with them. Love comes to heal the broken heart, to ease the troubled mind. Without a word, love bids us start to ask and seek and find. Love knocks and enters at the sound of welcome from within. Love sings and dances all around and feels new life begin.
Well, I would like to go ahead and invite anybody, any young people or young at heart up front to hear a story about a remarkable Unitarian ancestor. All right. Thank you. Thanks for coming up. So today, and all month actually of October, we're going to be talking about compassion, but just not the kind that shows up when someone is sad or hurt, but the kind that's part of how we move through the world. Every day, as Unitarian Universalists, we believe that compassion is something we can practice and we can grow better at, like a seed that we water in our hearts. And so our story today is that kind of compassion that happens when we view a big injustice that is hurting a lot of people, and we say to ourselves, that's not right. I need to do something about this. This is the true story about someone who lived a long time ago, over 200 years ago, before there were cell phones or cars, or even when most houses didn't have electricity in their own homes. This person's name was Dorothea Dix, and even though her world looked very different from ours, she had something very important in common with us. Dorothea believed that every person deserved to be treated with dignity and compassion, respect, and care. When she was a child, her life was pretty hard. Her mom was often sick, and her dad wasn't a kind person. And her family moved from place to place a lot. Dorothea always didn't feel safe or seen. Eventually, she went to live with her grandmother in the Boston area, and things got better. Dorothea loved to read, and even though girls weren't always taught to study back then, Dorothea taught herself all kinds of things. And when she grew up, and I heard she was just a teenager, maybe like as old as our teenager here, when she grew up, she became a teacher and opened her own school, and she opened it for children who were poor. And she wasn't trying to be famous. She was just a compassionate person that wanted to help. That's what compassion looks like, noticing someone who is hurting and choosing to act. One day, Dorothea decided to visit the Unitarian Church where Dr. William Ellery Channing was speaking. And those of us who have been through coming of age, we know all about Dr. Channing, don't we? What she heard that day changed her life forever. She heard Dr. Channing preach that God was love. We are all part of that love, and we are called to show that love to others. This was very different from the church she had attended before this. It wasn't long after that Dorothea became a Unitarian. Inspired by her Unitarian faith that called her to put love and compassion at the center of her life, she started looking around for people who were being treated unfairly, people who had been forgotten. And one day she visited a prison where women were being locked up, not because they were dangerous, but because they had mental illness. Some of them were chained to the wall with no warm clothes or blankets. Can you imagine? And this is in Massachusetts where it gets really, really cold. The people in charge said, it doesn't matter, they don't feel cold like normal people. But Dorothea knew better. She said, they are people, they feel cold, they feel pain, they deserve dignity. And then she did something amazing. She didn't just feel sad, she took action. Dorothea visited every single prison in Massachusetts. She took notes, she asked questions, she wrote reports, she spoke to people in government. And guess what? Because of her work, the state opened hospitals where people with mental illnesses were treated kindly, given food and clothing, and care and respect. And then she went to other states, and I read in my research, she even went to the United Kingdom. And she did it all again, over and over. She showed up and spoke out. Dorothea helped change the way our country thinks about mental health. Dorothea believed that people should be treated kindly, even if they think or act differently. Everyone deserves dignity, no matter what they're going through. With her life, she taught many people that compassion often means standing up and saying, this isn't right, we can do better. And behind me, you'll see some of the hospitals that were started because of her. There are actually hundreds, but these are just the ones I could find after a quick internet search. So the next time someone is being left out, struggling, or treated unfairly in even a small way, remember Dorothea. Remember that compassion isn't just a feeling, it's something we do. So thank you all for listening, and we're going to go ahead and sing our children out to their rooms now.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace, as you go your way in peace.
Horizon leaders, both volunteers and staff members, work diligently throughout the year to be careful and attentive stewards of the congregation and its funds. Countless meetings, reports, documents, and budgets are necessary to maintain the health of an organization, especially one that has endured since 1989. We depend on our tools and on our teams to track where every dollar goes, and they do just that. But the gifts you make to our weekly offering or through your annual pledge represent far more than lines on a spreadsheet. Your contributions are a tangible commitment to the mission and vision of Horizon. Each time you give, you renew this commitment. And as a result, your support is entwined with all that we believe and all that we do here together. This is its own special gift. In this spirit of trust and generosity, we gratefully accept the offering. Thank you to our members and friends who give and pledge electronically. If you would like to give electronically, you may do so on the Breeze app or online at horizonuu.org/donate. The offering will now be joyfully given and received. Thank you for your generosity.
Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. And change will come to you. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. And change will come to you. Be the light you want to shine in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world. And change will come to you.
When Reverend Chris asked me a few weeks ago to give a reflection on compassion and how it's shown up throughout my life, I was really nervous to accept and to write and to speak about it. Usually when I'm up here, I'm reading words that have been written by someone else. But I do love the topic of compassion and care and empathy, so I was like, why not give it a shot? I started thinking about times in my life where I or others around me had shown compassion in some way, shape, or form. I thought about maybe stuff I'd seen on TV, stuff my classmates had done, maybe things my teachers had done. I thought about all the clubs and extracurriculars I'm in, and though I could think of all of the nice people that I know, I was having a hard time finding an example of compassion when someone was showing concern and taking action. Eventually, I landed on a specific time in middle school, where kids are notorious for their kindness and sympathy. It was in 6th grade, and it was the year that COVID shut down everything, and some people were going back to school afterwards. My family had decided to keep us home for the first 9 weeks in an effort to keep us safe and healthy, but after that, we went to the campus, and I was very excited. I hadn't seen my friends in half a year, and though I didn't have any classes with them, I knew that I would get to spend time with them at lunch. We would talk about how crazy life has been, and we would catch up. Except that's not what happened. In those 9 weeks that I had been out of school, all of my friends from elementary school had formed a group with other girls and had started hanging out with them. I thought that was great, even more friends. But they didn't see it like that. I sat at the same table as them, but I sat on the edge. I would make conversation with them, but it would end up being short and choppy. Eventually, I got pushed out of the table entirely and started eating by myself. I guess my friends had moved on. But here's where the compassion starts. 2 of my classmates that were in many of my classes noticed that I was sitting alone. They came up to me one day and asked, "Hey, do you want to sit with us?" I can honestly say that in that moment, I was speechless. These two girls and I were close. They had no reason or need to be coming up to me and asking if I wanted to sit with them, but here they were. So I said yes as my face turned red and followed them back to their table. We talked and we traded food, and it was the best lunch that I had had all year. After that, the rest is history. Those two girls are now my best friends, and I am forever grateful for the compassion that they showed me those years ago. Now, whenever I see someone sitting by themselves, I ask them if they want to come sit with us. When someone asks to be in our group for a project, I say, of course. Showing a little bit of compassion towards others has a major impact on the life of someone else.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole.
We now take time to honor the sorrows and joys of this community, knowing that we are all interconnected and that what affects one affects us all. A joy, Kat and Morteza celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary yesterday. And a personal joy this past week was the 9th anniversary of my ordination to UU ministry at First Unitarian in Louisville. I celebrated with rugby and ice hockey, as you do. And we light a candle this morning to honor all the joys and sorrows which have gone unspoken and reside only in our hearts. Will you please join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation in whatever way feels right with these words from Nika Eden Gwyn. Great Spirit of life, Spirit of love, gods and goddesses of many and no names, come unto us, for we know not what to do about all that is happening in the world. We know not what to do for those who are suffering. Sing in our hearts all the stirrings of compassion, compassion for the oppressed, for the scared and hurting, for those who are sick and in pain and alone. Blow in the wind, rise in the seas. May we listen to the stirrings of the earth and together protect our beautiful planet that holds and nourishes us. Move in our hands so we may give life the shape of justice, that all may experience equity, freedom, and dignity. Roots hold us close so we may feel a connection to this earth and to one another, interconnected in all. Wings set us free so we may soar with inspiration, creativity, and vision. Spirit of life, come to us so we may be whole and live lives of value and purpose. Blessed be.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
A reading from Rabbi Esther Adler. Compassion in Hebrew is rachamim. Rachamim is a plural form of the word rechem, meaning womb. And so our sages say that compassion is like a mother's love for her child. But I think that is completely missing the point. First, rechem is womb, not mother. The womb does not love, the womb sustains and protects the unborn baby simply because that is what it does. Also, the womb connects the baby to the mother in a most intimate way, perhaps the most intimate connection two separate beings can have. The relationship is not symbiotic, though. The womb gives, the baby receives. From this perspective, then, rachamim, or being womb-like, means being connected to another being in an intimate, sustaining way, without expectation of anything in return. Rachamim is not a feeling like sympathy or empathy. It is a deep connection to another human being that moves us to act in ways that are sustaining to that person. Rachamim, compassion, is not a feeling. It is a choice. It is the choice to acknowledge our shared humanity, no matter how I may feel about you.
As around the sun, the earth now she's revolving, as the rosebuds know to bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's the cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always. As now can reveal the mystery of tomorrow, but in passing we'll grow older every day. Just as all that's born is new, though you know what I say is true, that I'll be loving you always until the rainbow burns the stars out in the sky. Always until the ocean covers every mountain high. Always until the dolphin flies and parrots live at sea. Always until the dream of life and life becomes a dream. Did you know that true love asks for nothing? Her acceptance is the way we pay. Did you know that life has given love a guarantee to last forever another day? Just as time knew to move on from beginning, and the seasons know exactly when to change. Just as kindness knows no shame, know through all your joy and pain that I'll be loving you always. As today I know I'm living, but tomorrow could make me the past, but that I mustn't fear. For I'll know deep in my mind, love of me I've left behind. 'Cause I'll be loving you always, until the day is night and night becomes a day. Always until the trees and seas just up and fly away. Always until the day times 8 times 8 times 8 is 4. Always until the day is the day we are no more. Can know times, taste and troubles can make you wish you were born in another time and space. But you can bet your life in that time that it's double. That God knew exactly where He wanted you to be placed. So make sure that when you say you're in it but not of it, you're not having to make this earth a place sometimes called hell. Change your words into truth, and then change that truth into love. And maybe our grandchildren, and maybe our children's grandchildren and their grandchildren will tell. Always until the earth starts turning right to left. Always until the I know you want to clap, sorry. Until the earth just for the sun denies itself. Always until dear Mother Nature says her work is done. Always until the day that you are me and I am you. Always.
Strange things happened over the last few years. Well, maybe a few strange things. But this one in particular, empathy, which has often been seen as a virtue in so many cultures, is being demonized as a vice by some in our country. The idea that we should be able to understand how other people's feel has been called manipulative. Conservative evangelicals Ally Beth Stuckey and Joe Rigney even go so far as to say that empathy is anti-Christian and that religious folks should avoid it at all costs. Because we all know Jesus never empathized with anyone. Now, I was always taught that empathy was a good thing. Maybe you were too. Being able to understand how someone thinks or how they are suffering, taking on another's perspective, I was always taught this can only help us understand one another and create a better world, right? Now, the reason for this turn against empathy is that more and more people are becoming empathetic towards people that Stuckey and Rigney don't like. They fear that young, vulnerable people will start understanding the point of view of people who are LGBTQIA+, or who advocate for greater reproductive justice access, or who vote for a different political party than them. And that would threaten the status quo of modern evangelical belief. Empathy would make it harder for evangelicals to simply dismiss people they agree with or don't like as sinners or as people who just want to be rebellious against God. Now, it's easy to dismiss these comments for the bigotry they represent, and there is certainly that aspect here. I do find it ironic that a group of people who fear understanding people different from them because it would require them to see their identities and actions with a degree of humanity that they are currently not afforded. But for this hour, I want to take their concerns seriously. And hang with me. I'm not going to, in the end, say that empathy is a sin or anything like that. I want to ask, though, what if it's not always a good thing to simply take on other people's perspectives? You see, I fear a degree of truth to the concern that empathy can be manipulative. Calvin and I like watching true crime, and I'm going to go to the most extreme possible example. Jeffrey Dahmer. I have watched documentaries and read books about Jeffrey Dahmer. He had a really messed up childhood. Empathy allows me to understand why Jeffrey Dahmer might have become the way he did. But if I get stuck in empathy, and I've seen people, especially in progressive circles, do this, I might say maybe we shouldn't do anything about Jeffrey Dahmer because I understand what it's like to be vulnerable as a child myself. I don't know about you, but I don't know if solitary confinement in prison is the answer, but I certainly don't want Jeffrey Dahmer as my next-door neighbor. Now let's take it down a notch from serial killers. I've known of more than one congregation embroiled in conflict where empathy made it more difficult to resolve their differences. Imagine there's a contentious issue going on, something like the color of the chairs. Yes, I'm aware that that's a historical issue here. Most people's understanding of how to resolve conflict is to engage their empathy, try to see where the other person is coming from, and use that knowledge to imagine a path forward that makes everyone happy. And that's not a bad idea in and of itself. Where the problem surfaces, though, is in what is done with the understanding afterwards. See, I've seen people believe that because everyone has valid concerns or reasons that motivate their behavior, all perspectives are equally valid. And this has led more than one person, more than one board, more than one minister, and more than one congregation into complete inaction in an effort to make everyone happy. In some parody of the retail customer service model where the customer is always right. Of course, the problem here isn't that everyone has an opinion. I don't know how I would have felt about that chair issue had I been here when it happened. But it does mean that even if a person has reasons and motivations that are understandable, it doesn't mean that all viewpoints, even those that sound reasonable, are right. Or, if there's no one answer that's better in and of itself, that we have to do everything. And that's the problem with empathy in and of itself. As with the serial killer example, empathy with toxic viewpoints can cause me to get caught up in that point of view and unable to do anything about it. I once knew someone who acted in narcissistic and hurtful ways. I'm going to vague book here for a minute because I suspect a lot of us have known a person like this, and you're all going to simply project onto my story your person. For the life of him, this person could not take responsibility for his or her or their own actions. They were frequently abusive and emotionally manipulative and blamed all their shortcomings on the people around them. Their divorce was all the wife's fault. They were fired for 2 jobs for theft, but those were his employer being manipulative. The result was a very angry person who was difficult to be around because even at their best, they were ultimately unpredictable. Pure empathy helps me to understand where they're coming from. This person's mother was very verbally and emotionally abusive, and they probably learned to act in the same way as a defense mechanism. Their inability to admit that they were wrong today is probably their psyche preventing anything from shattering the facade of confidence in the world they've built up. They would go back to that scared, abused little child if they admitted they did anything wrong, even now in their 70s. Now, empathy helps me understand why they behave like this, but it doesn't tell me what to do about it. There's a danger that if we all see that abused little child in everyone, it might be difficult to put up with behavior we might not otherwise put up with, even if it means sacrificing a part of myself. There are a lot of messages in our culture that teach instant reconciliation, no matter the consequences. And it's easier to forgive if I understand the motives, that's true. But is that what the situation calls for? If the behavior perpetuates the cycle and makes me feel incompetent, then is it truly ethical behavior either for myself or them? This can happen in other situations as well. If I look at a racist and only understand how they became a racist, or to a manipulator and only see how they became such a person, I may become so mired in the why that I lose sight of everything else. So caught in the backstories that I fail to do anything about it. And again, it's not that understanding the why is a bad thing. It's important, in fact. But it's that I also have to ask myself what I have to do in response. That is the meaning of compassion. Empathy plus action. Understand, as Daniel Goleman once put it, true compassion means not only feeling another's pain, but also being moved to help relieve it. And, well, that doesn't necessarily mean being nice or doing what the other person wants me to do either. I'm no longer in touch with the person in my story. For me, that was the best compassionate action I could take for all involved. It was best because it allowed me to heal from my encounters with them and not stoop to their behavior. But I think it was also the best action I could take for the other. If I agree with the Buddhists that there is suffering in anger that he is full of, as well as the anger I feel in their presence, then separating myself keeps both of us from suffering just a little bit. I hope this person will heal their anger and there might be some form of reconciliation one day. But I'm doing what I can to reduce the amount of pain in the world, which is what my ethics call me to do. After all, compassion is not about taking action to make the other person happy, but to make sure I'm not creating more suffering, or at the very least, as little suffering as possible. Compassion is such a useful tool to have in my toolbox because it's useful in virtually any situation where I'm in contact with other people. In a different situation, I might feel some empathy for someone who is marginalized and feel compelled to get involved with social justice, or for someone who is impoverished and feel the need to donate to charity or work to create new systems that will prevent people from falling through the economic justice cracks entirely. As an unknown author once put it, use your voice in kindness for kindness, your ears for compassion, and your hands for charity, your mind for truth, and your heart for love. I can use my whole person for the purpose of relieving others of their suffering, or when that's not possible, at least not causing more suffering in its place. This is why I love the metaphor from our reading today of compassion as a wound. Imagine, even if you're a person who doesn't have a womb, imagine you have a womb there that's filled up with compassion that wants to make the world a better place. And you have to ask yourself, what in this situation would make the world a better place? I want to say that that's the true meaning of deep and compassionate love. Not making the person happy, not making them walk away with a smile on their face, although that's a bonus if it happens, but doing what needs to be done so that everyone can eventually have joy and happiness in their lives. It's about making the world a better place through the way each of us lives our life. And sure, maybe donating to charity won't eliminate poverty, but I'm convinced that if enough people were moved to take concerted action in the world, all of us would live better lives. This can awaken a great truth. As Mother Teresa once put it, if we have no compassion, it is because we have forgotten we belong to one another. Because compassion asks us to both empathize and do something about it, it's a way to remember that our actions reverberate well beyond ourselves. Without being able to feel how others feel and take actions as a result, we'll never be able to heal the divides in the world. Now, if you're waiting for me to get to the part where I give you a simple calculus that tells you how to be compassionate each and every time, I didn't get around to that this week. It's not easy or straightforward. In fact, what may be compassionate in one situation might be completely incompassionate in another. There's no pithy saying I can give you that will work 100% of the time. I could tell you to engage with the golden rule, but there are times even that fails. What I can do is ask you, what is the path of least suffering, both for myself and for others? What can I do to create as little pain as I can? This is my challenge to you this morning. Choose the path of compassion, the path of reducing suffering. I love that in Elizabeth's reflection this morning, she very much brought it down to earth, that compassion, yes, it's about the big, grand, universal things that I've been talking about, but it's also about the day-to-day as well. When I encounter people, what can I do to reduce the suffering that is before me? And the Buddha said we all suffer. If you don't suffer, if you've never suffered, please see me after the service. I want to talk to you. As Glennon Doyle Melton once put it, compassion is a viewpoint, a way of life, a perspective, a habit that becomes a discipline. And more than anything else, compassion is a choice we make that love is more important than comfort or convenience. I'm convinced that if we want to build beloved community, it will take each of us living lives of compassion to make the world a better place. Will you join me in making the world a better place? And yes, while empathy, getting caught in empathy might be bad sometimes, maybe Through our compassion, we can show that empathy and action can bring the whole world together. May it be so.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole.
We extinguish this flame, but not our commitment to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. This we do because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world. I would like to invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, hymn number 1008 in the Teal hymnal, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Go out into the world, not to be perfect, but to practice, to be a practitioner of compassion wherever you go today. May you seed compassion. May your hands remember how to tend, and your heart how to return. When compassion is hard, for no garden grows in a day, but they grow. Go in peace and practice growing. We take the fire within us and share it with others as we go. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy